Hi, I'm Heather from here at Booktubes, and today is Office Romances. This really could be any workplace romance, but this is more focused to the office, I would say. I love this one because it does have a forced proximity element to it. You have to go to the same place every day. This was what had me falling in love with contemporary romance, and so I've got a couple that I read a long time ago, a couple that I've read recently, but these are some really good ones. As always, if it's on Kindle Unlimited, it will be marked in the description, and I hope you find ones that you enjoy. My very first one is Bare to You, which is Crossfire #1 by Sylvia. This is a billionaire romance, and they do not work in the same company, but they work in the same building. He owns the building, she works at a company in the building. So Gideon is the rise end of contemporary romance, and I love him. He's tall, he's got dark hair, he's got blue eyes, he's got a force of will that gets mentioned a bunch, and there's a lot of sexual abuse in their past in this book, so do beware of that. But Ava, she can stand on her own 2 feet. She holds her own, she has her own money, she has found her own healing. And so I like that she's not the damsel in distress per se, which, I mean, you could argue that because there are things that go on in the series, but I like that she holds her own against Gideon. They meet in the lobby of the building, and it's just, I love this series. This is my first contemporary romance. It's a 6-book series about the same couple. It's crazy and wild, and I just love them. Then I have The Messenger, which is Professionals #3 by Jessica Gadziala. I do really recommend reading the whole series because I love them, and this is how I fell in love with Jessica Gadziala, and you do see them longing over each other a little bit in the first 2 books. But this one, he's loved her since the day he met her. And she has been engaged to somebody else and is getting ready to get married until he finds her on the day of the wedding in her wedding dress crying, and he basically helps her get away, and they fall in love, and it is so sweet. It's so sweet. He's really a cinnamon roll, but everybody in the Fixer organization for the Professionals, they can all hold their own. And I am not a fan of friends to lovers. I'm not a fan of the guy being in love with the girl and she's not doing anything about it. But I loved this book, and I really loved them as a couple. I was rooting for them. I was so excited when they got together. I just love them. Then I have The Wrong/Right Man by Aurora Reynolds. This one, she gets up on a blind date. She has a great time. She sleeps with him. She wakes up the next morning to her friend asking why she stood up her blind date, and finds out that this wasn't the guy that she was supposed to meet. And he's basically not sorry for it. And turns out they do work at the same company. And he is very alpha male. It's very insta-love. It's very over the top. If you don't like alpha male tendencies, you won't like this book. But I loved it. I reread it. I thought it was a good time. I thought it was crazy and over the top, and I really enjoyed it. And then By a Thread by Lucy Score. This one, he gets her fired from a pizza place, and then his mom is like an Anna Wintour in the Devil Wears Prada type character, and she hires her basically to keep her son in line. And so they have to work together, and so it's a hate to love and a boss romance, even though he can't fire her. And there is her dad has dementia. That's not something that I like reading about, but I loved this book. There's a bunch of angst, stupid pride angst in here, which is another thing that drives me crazy, and I still loved this book. It's a really great book. A really great love story. I really recommend. Highly recommend, guys. Then lastly, I have The Law of Attraction by N.M. Silber. This is Lawyers in Love #1. This is the first book in a 2-part serial, and I'm pretty sure I never got to read the second book because my library didn't have it. But they had the third one, which is about a different couple. So I don't know when that all happened. I guess maybe. But this is one of the first books that I read, and I loved it. And this book set me on an entire rabbit trail of lawyer romances, which led me to the FBI U.S. Attorney series. It led me to the Love and Stiletto series and Oxford series, which aren't about lawyers, but I thought they were when I started them. So there's a bunch of books I read because I loved this book so much. I was looking to recreate that. So that is a high praise for a book. So Gabrielle is a public defender and Braden is an assistant district attorney. So if you don't know, basically they're on opposite sides on every case, and they're really going against each other. And this is a rom-com and was really funny, and I love their chemistry and their banter and them going head to head in the courtroom and outside of it. And I really, really enjoyed this one so much. Like I said, it put me on a journey where I found a lot more other books, and that is just, what more can you ask for than a book that makes you really want more books just like it. So those are my office romances. Do you prefer office or other workplace romances? Do you like workplace romances? I do like them. I tend to be a little bit skeptical. You know, my brain likes to be like, they won't be able to do that. So sometimes I have that issue with it, but I do really enjoy them, like I said, because they are kind of forced to be together. And I'd love to hear your recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.